Hey everyone, it's Dave and Olive. Thanks for joining us here at Book Blather, where we try to have a little fun while we talk about the books we've read recently to help spread the joy of reading. Today, we're doing a wrap up of the latest books we've just read. Okay, thanks for joining us, everybody. Today, we're going to be talking about the first couple books that we've read this summer. So, we have a bit of a chunker sci fi that we read, and then two very short fiction horror stories that we've been meaning to get to. So, we'll jump right into it. So, the first one that we read is Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. So this we read as part of a group read that was run by MJ over at Reading This Life. If you haven't checked out her channel yet, you should definitely check it out. She runs a number of group reads, and so that's why we read this one. We were happy to jump on this because we had read some time ago his first book, The Martian. That was one of the few books we've mentioned before we don't listen to a ton of audio, but that was one we did listen to the audio book, and that was probably the best audiobook performance that we've ever listened to. And so obviously everybody's heard about the movie with Matt Damon, and that's got a lot of acclaim. The book was way better, and I if you haven't read and especially listened to that audiobook, I definitely recommend that. But this is not about Martian. This is about Project Hail Mary, which is his third book. He has another one called Artemis that we haven't read. But so what this one is about the main character, Dr. Ryland Grace, that wakes up on a spaceship without his memory, and so he's not quite sure really who he is or what he's doing there or what his mission is. And so the story is told in, he gradually starts to get his memories back. So the story, that's the vehicle for the story jumping back and forth between, when basically telling the story in, what caused him to be on this mission and the preparation for this mission, and it tells that whole story, and it goes back and forth between current time on the spaceship and his time in the past before he left. And it's this is one of those books where it's pretty chunky. It's almost 500 pages in the paperback, which for us is a pretty big one. So I don't know what that would be in mass market. That's not out yet. But despite the fact that it's so big, it's one of those ones I really can't tell you too much about it because there's a number of different reveals throughout the book. So, but it's basically kind of what Andy Weir is known for is his style is he uses real science basically for his characters to solve problems, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty unique kind of storytelling. So you don't get drowned in the science, and so the Martian was like this, where he, the main character was stuck in a bad situation, encountered a series of problems, and he had to solve each of those, with different scientific solutions. But Andy Weir kind of dumbs it down and makes it enjoyable for you to read, not a lot of work. And so that's the same thing in this book. Same thing. He was presented with a lot of different problems as he's on this voyage, and he has to solve all these, and Andy Weir helps walk you through those. So this book was really good. It was a really good story, and written very well, of course. But the one drawback that I would say to this story is there was probably just a little too much of the science in this one. The Martian was kind of perfect. I'm kind of a science guy. I have a physics background and I do science in my work, and so I think it's fair for me to say that I'm not just saying, oh my god, the science, I deal with science, so it's, I think, a pretty objectively reasonable opinion that it was probably just a little too much in this. Not that it was so painful, but there probably could have gone with maybe one or two less problems, and accompanying solutions to be solved during this story, and then maybe been like 50, 100 pages shorter. So there was probably just a little too much of that. That is not a reason not to read this, though. It's just something I think maybe you should be prepared for going in, but I thought this was a great book. It was a really cool mystery. It is really cool the way Andy Weir walks you through all these different problems and solutions, and there's a lot of excitement, a lot of different climaxes throughout as different things come up. It's you see a couple different relationships in the story, because you're dealing with these different time periods, but basically you learn the very basic non-spoilery version is there is a problem in our solar system, and this Project Hail Mary is sort of a desperate desperate attempt to try to save us, I guess. Let's put it that way. And so but you see a lot of different relationships in the story, and there is a really just unique, heartwarming friendship that has a very big place in this story. So it'll really warm your heart when you read it, and it's a little emotional, this book, and the ending is emotional, and so I would highly recommend it. I really enjoyed it, and I think most people really enjoy this book. So yeah, so this one was a success. Now, we had basically our first few reads of the summer. It was all successes, and so these next two that we read were much shorter works, and these were both independently published short horror fiction. And if you watch this channel, you know that our reviews are, we're always honest, and small press and independent authors don't get a pass, and we've given bad reviews for those when we thought they were warranted. Don't have to do that today. The next thing that we read was The Scampering by Alana K. Drex and A.W. Mason. We'll link everybody below as usual, but they're very active on Instagram, so we'll put up their Instagram so you can go check them out. But so what this story is, again, I can't say too much about it because it is very short, but as you can tell just from the cover, it involves squirrels, right? And so the main character has basically had a traumatic experience that involves squirrels, and this sort of sets the stage for this story, and it's so it was pretty well written. The writing mechanically it wasn't perfect, but it was pretty good, and but the story was wild. As you can see, it says extreme horror, and it is. There's not many things that I can think of that we haven't read a ton of like hardcore horror, but there's not much I can think of where the scenes were as extreme as this. Now it's quick. The whole story is quick, so the scenes are quick, but it got really extreme really quick. It was pretty wicked. So we would definitely recommend. That's all I could say about it, but we would definitely recommend picking this up. We got it as soon as it came out. We got it. We just didn't read it right away, but we got it because it was just an ebook. They actually publish a paper version now, which we would have gotten had we not already got the e-version. But so you can get it in paper version or e-version, and it's the proceeds go to benefit what was it? Animal welfare. I think it's called Animal Welfare Society or something like that. So that's great. The proceeds go to a good cause, and it's a good story. I think you'll really enjoy it, so I definitely recommend picking that one up. And then the next one that we read, we also really enjoyed. This is The Hay Bale by Priscilla Bettis, and she will put up her webpage. We'll link that below. This story that The Hay Bale is about. This is what I think. This is a little longer one. This is probably a novelette. And what this story is about is it's about a woman that shows up in a town at a house that she's rented, and she discovers an unusual hay bale in the back, and that's sort of that's sort of the central feature of this story that has there's some she ends up dealing with all the different townspeople, and there's some religious overtones in this story, but this was a really cool story because I really like stories that are not I really like horror stories that are not just like a scary thrill ride. I've talked about this before. I like those ones that have double meanings to them, where they use the horror to explore some sort of real life psychological or emotional trauma that somebody's going through. And that's what this was. This woman had some failed bids for motherhood that she desperately wanted, and that was kind of the backdrop for her going into for her walking into this town and encountering this setting. And there is quite a bit of metaphor, and it kind of explores her trauma through this real life, like real actual traditional horror story, which was creepy and scary and good old fashioned horror. So this was really good, and the writing was impeccable. So we would also really strongly recommend this one. So that's it. Those are the first 3 reads of the summer so far, and we were very pleased with all 3 of them, and we would recommend that you recommend all 3 of them. The Hay Bale, by the way, is also, I believe, only an ebook, so which is why we have it up here. So anyway, recommend them all, and and if you've read any of them, or you're planning to read any of them, let us know what you think. I'd be curious to hear other people's thoughts on them. Leave us a comment below. If you don't want to leave anything substantive, leave Olive a puppy emoji. She always likes to see those. So if you like this video, as always, please give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell so that you get notified the next time Olive says it's okay to upload another video. Thanks so much for watching. Take care of yourselves and each other, and we'll see you next time.